took my test. You need a score of a 70 out of 100 to pass the PA test. I get my score back, 69. So I missed it by a question. I'm pissed off. I actually cried that day. Like I get in my car, I called Jimmy, and he's like, "Hey bud," he's like, "Congratulations." He's like, "How'd you do?" And I was like, "I failed." He's like, "Shut up." I'm like, "No, dude, I failed." He's like, "It's all right, bud." And I'm like, "I gotta go." I hung up the phone and started crying. I was like, just super mad at myself. You're going in there and you're telling people, "Hey, do you know you have damage on your roof? We do a free inspection." No, when you walk outside and you see their entire belongings on the curb because it's all destroyed and being hauled away. Crazy. It's just mind-blowing.
The laws are changing because of the education level. I think the homeowners have learned more, we've learned more, and now the insurance company is like, all right, well, cool. You guys learned that? Well, here, about these new laws. You guys want to learn these? They're getting with the politicians. It's a nightmare. For those that can't see him right now, I don't know what he's even wearing here. Like, it looks like you got mauled by a bear on your way in here.
I got attacked by a cougar.
You bought those with those holes in them, didn't you?
It's just American Eagle, whatever.
American Eagle?
Yeah. Dude, they're super comfortable.
Wait, we fit American Eagle?
I fit American Eagle.
I know.
Wow.
But they're stretchy, so.
Oh, okay.
They're good for roofs.
All right. Nice. So Sam the Roof Guy's got pregnancy pants on right now, and they got holes in them, but yeah, looks good.
Hey, oh, hey, oh.
You are now tuned in to the best roofing podcast in the world.
The Roof Trollz. Here we go, yo.
Roof Trollz, we're back. We're already in a debate. We got Sam the Roof Guy here with us, Sam Paredes. Those of you guys know him online as Sam the Roof Guy, joining our podcast. Thanks for joining us, Sam.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. And prior to the cameras rolling here, we already got it all started off, right?
Well,
LeBron
I wanted to stop.
again.
I want to stop the whole thing, and I said if we were to continue this while we were recording, I would stop it. First off, LeBron and Jordan, there is no debate. But Sam, you did throw a wrench in that, which that's where we picked up at, and that's a tough thing to even try to talk about.
I agree. So I expected to get ganged up on when I got here. Everyone knows I'm a LeBron fan. Everyone assumes that I think LeBron's a GOAT, which I don't. But I wouldn't say Jordan is either. Like I said, I would say,
and you'd be wrong.
I'd say Mamba. Mamba's the GOAT. Hands down.
On.
Hands down. Mamba's the GOAT.
You're playing on sympathy. I get that, and I love Kobe. Like that's
No, not Kobe. Brian Scalabrine, the White Mamba. He's the GOAT.
Well, then you won't get an argument out of it.
Yeah,
you won't get an argument.
White Mamba, hands down, greatest of all time.
I don't know why you do these things.
Okay. Hey,
you just do shit to piss me off still.
I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm not going to agree with it. But I'm not going to disagree with it. It's a better argument than Kobe. I thought you were going to throw that one out there.
That's what I thought we were talking about. And I'm like, that's like, he's dead, dude. Like, R.I.P. But, like, come on.
I don't know if we could say that.
What, R.I.P.?
No, no, he's dead.
There's a lot of people that are dead. Me being one of them.
Oh, my gosh. It's inevitable we go down this road. Anyway, so what's been going on, Sam? Where have you been? What have you been up to?
Yeah, where you been, Sam?
Where have I been? So I'm up in the Rockford area, still in Chicagoland, kind of. But had a couple things going on right now.
You drove from Rockford for this podcast?
Hey, only for you guys.
3.5 hour drive.
Oh, man, so you're still a sucker, I see.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, 2 hours, give or take, but, depending on who's driving. I mean, the main thing I got going on right now is Roofer's Lunchbox, as you guys have been invited, been a part of the group. Appreciate you guys chiming in with people who are posting, giving some feedback and whatnot. Video you guys posted, Michael Myers' video was awesome. So
thanks.
Glad to see you guys with your production team, what you guys got going on. So first episode, listened to it on Spotify last week and had a good laugh out of it. You guys cracked me up. I was like, yeah, kind of what I expected. Telling a story, but at the same time, a bunch of jabs being thrown at each other. So
yeah.
Expect nothing less.
Yeah.
But
like those pants. For those that can't see him right now, I don't know what he's even wearing here. Like, it looks like you got mauled by a bear on your way in here.
Something like that.
You didn't buy those like that.
I got attacked by a cougar.
You bought those with those holes in them, didn't you?
Yeah.
How much you pay for those?
I don't know. They're on sale.
Yeah, $350.
Jeez, dude.
They weren't $300. That's just American Eagle, whatever.
American Eagle.
Yeah, they're super comfortable.
Oh,
Wait,
my
we fit American Eagle?
I fit American Eagle.
I know.
Wow.
But they're stretchy, so.
Oh, okay.
They're good for roofs.
All right. Nice. So Sam the Roof Guy's got pregnancy pants on right now, and they got holes in them, but yeah, looks good.
So one cool thing with Sam being here, obviously he's semi-promoting what he's got going on and helping us out, but we all know Sam personally outside of this. I think before we talked about how Elijah and I got into the industry, but at that same company is where we met you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun to know that. You know, I give a lot of people kudos to that, but as crazy as that company was, and not to get off topic of how we met you, but like everyone was at that company has kind of, I mean, I know you had worked somewhere else, and a couple of our like friends that we still, you know, look at to this day, but everyone that was there at least during that time has gone on to still be in this industry and be successful. So as
For sure.
tumultuous as that, I'll say, relationship was for all of us, because I know we all left at different times and all that stuff because of, you know, what was there. Everyone's gone on to still be, you know, relatively successful. So I do give, you know, shout out to, you know, Mid-America when it was around. Like everyone that was there, I mean, went on to do something with themselves. So I mean, there was something there with the culture of like us and the craziness that was there and how we met you, and, you know, some other guys. Shout out to, you know, Brandon Delk, you know, Jimmy Up Churches has his own thing. Brandon again has his own thing. Josh Cohenhoven has his own thing. Like everyone that was,
Ryan
you know,
Ward
Ryan Ward has his own thing. Like
Blake has his own
Blake
thing.
has his own thing. So again, you know, whether we're all super tight now or whatever, we all were at one place together.
For sure.
Just as salesmen, you know, like I said, I started as a canvasser with, you know, Willie Woods is over with Angie is over with Josh, but a lot of the people that were there are still successful. So it's kind of cool to still kind of catch up with other people to be like, damn, man, like.
For sure. I would say that was one of the best atmospheres as far as sales go. I'm having a competitive sales atmosphere with Jimmy, the way he ran the sales meetings. They got you ready to go out there and battle for the day. And so I give a lot of credit to where when I got into sales management after that, I would reach out to him sometimes and just ask, how do you deal with this? One thing I've been told is I have a problem with talking to people sometimes as far as explaining things without belittling or being an asshole, to put it frank. And so I would think back sometimes as, you know, what is it that we were doing, or what was it about the culture there that made us want to go out there and kick ass? Because at the end of the day, we had a great sales team. It wasn't necessarily the most skilled sales team.
No.
It was just that bag of mixed candy that, you know, there's a little bit of everything in there. But everyone came together at the end of the day. We were competitive. We pushed each other. Plenty of smack talk, but we pushed each other to be better.
I think it was just fun.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I talked to, you know, my wife, you've met Lauren, but talk to her, and even when we talk to our friends, and we have new people that, you know, come in and they're sales reps and everything, and when we tell them our stories, and you know, we want to get our team to that point, because that's what I go back to, is when I talk about when I was a door knocker, was Mid-America, you know, and then I went to, you know, Lux and then RBI, and all the transitions from even different levels within those companies, which sometimes was a joke and sometimes it worked out and sometimes it didn't, which we all obviously know how some of that places went. Sure. But we had fun.
At least in Indiana, we had fun because
we always had fun.
We crushed Illinois' ass all the time.
Oh my God, I was ganged up. You guys, there were like 12 of you and 2 of me.
Well, if you never would have opened your mouth, that was the thing. Is like you would talk.
Came into the meetings, talking.
You would talk smack,
and you would
then
travel from Illinois to be part of an Indiana meeting for no reason other than to talk shit.
It's like driving from Rockford to come to do a podcast.
Exactly. Like, you're stupid.
Well, you know what? It only took me about a year, and then I joined the club. I started doing business in Indiana and never left since. So
it was just, dude, it was just like, it was fun. Like I talk, like, it's like me and Josh, right? We're still good friends. I was just at his Halloween party, which is also like his anniversary, right? They got married. But we still talk like how sometimes we wish it was back. Like we would just go out, get a couple signs, go get lunch, have a couple beers, maybe go back to work, maybe not. But when it came down to the meeting, we had, you know, 8 signs for the week, 10 signs for the week. We had money coming in, and that's like, I think the big difference that we were fortunate to have each other, even though we were all different. Because I mean, at the time we were salesmen. Willie Woods was there, which if you don't know who Willie is,
shout out to Willie Woods.
He was super young, super charismatic, had you know,
energy.
Very much so energy. He would light it all up because he was just the young guy, right? This guy Willie, who's just like, what are we doing today? Where are we going today? Oh, you need to get on a roof? I'll get on a roof. And then that like bright ass smile. So the energy we had is like, it's hard to explain to like our reps now, because we do our meetings here, so we move all the tables out to do this. We're trying to explain to these guys, man, like, you got to have fun doing this. Like,
For sure.
I mean, outside of the whys, you know, all the pseudo like sales stuff, like you got to find a way to have fun, and then you'll crush it.
I think there's a couple of things that are a key difference though. Number one is, I sound old when I say this generation's not the same though. Like, just the younger generation coming in, it's not the same. There's so much political correctness or incorrectness that you can't talk the way we talked. You can't shoot the shit the way we did without offending somebody, or someone saying you can't say that or you can't do that. I think the other big thing too is the industry has shifted and changed. At the end of the day, the market's changed, the industry's changed. People are more experienced, people are more knowledgeable than they were back then. So before, we were the only company out there. So we can send 10 guys to an area blitz it every single day of the week. And we might see one or two other companies and we laugh like they see us, we're 10, 12 deep. They're like, all right, I'm going to go somewhere else. You can't do that anymore. At least I can't speak for Northwest Indiana, but being in Chicago, you know, out in Illinois.
We just talked about that the last podcast too. That's a completely
it's a different
saturated market. Yeah, it's fun. Every day, 15 new roofs pop up in Illinois.
You can't go into after storm. Right? We could work an entire season in an area and be the only team out there. Now, I mean, Carpentersville got hit about 8 weeks ago. I went out the next morning and I'm like, all right, I'll start knocking around 9:30. Go out there with the guys. I get out there and it's flooded already. There's trucks everywhere. I knock on someone's door at 9 o'clock in the morning. And they're telling me you're the 8th guy to stop by. And I'm like, it's 9 o'clock.
We jumped on it early, so Michigan City, Indiana got pelted, 3.5-inch hail. We were out there. I literally drove my car during the back end of the storm, got into homeowners' houses. We were signing contracts while the hail was still in the yard. It hadn't even melted yet. And when we got off the first roof, there was like 8 contractors out there already.
It's insane.
Literally that quick, and coming from all over the place. You know,
all from Mid-America. They all branched out.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But there are some pros to it, too. So, like, back when we were selling at Mid-America, homeowners didn't know what the fuck this was. Like, they had no idea what public adjusting was, the contractor aspect of it, how the two correlate with each other, like what we can do and what we can't do. Shit, most homeowners didn't even know that they could get stuff bought through the insurance companies. Homeowners now still don't even know what the deductible is, which is insane to me. But we have come so far now with the material that's out there, the education level that's out there, with not only us in the industry, but with the homeowners. Like, so many people know more about this now. And YouTube and TikTok and Facebook, Instagram, all of them have made it so much easier for you to gain knowledge. It's not hard. So I feel like somewhat it's kind of easier now as far as like delivering the message to the homeowners or getting them to understand that, hey, man, this is what you need to do because the storm was actually real here. You know, it damaged the home, and this is how I can advocate on your behalf and, you know, get this taken care of to the level that it needs to be taken care of. Whereas before, you'd have to spend so long explaining it.
Well, everybody now knows somebody that's gotten a roof or siding done.
But the flip side to that is they are more knowledgeable now. So now it's not like, oh, really? You can do that? Okay, I'll sign here. Now it's, well, we want a bid. We want a quote. Well, my cousin said, you know, you can put my deductible. They're not helping
you guys out there in Illinois right now. If you're using a PA in Illinois, I think it's 10%, right? That's the cap.
Yeah, so they capped it at 10%.
So that's crazy. So, like, if you're out there helping someone, and it takes none of this is easy. Simple, yes. Easy, no. So, like, when you're writing up an estimate and you've got a flat roof on the line, it's $250,000. It's damaged. It needs to be taken care of. Let's do this. And then all that homeowner now or business owner, all they're looking at now is like, it's only 10% to make you part ways, right? Right. And I find somebody to do it much cheaper, and then I pocket this. And they say that they, being the insurance companies, tell us that they're not wanting to profit off it or they don't want people to turn profit, but you're like laying it up for them to be able to do that by locking it in. I know it works hand in hand because there's bad PAs out there too, but in the grand scheme of things, 10% is not enough of a PA fee to make someone decide to walk away. That's I mean, I'd do it. If you came to my house and it was $30,000 for a roof and siding, and you wanted to lay out all $30,000,
jacked up to $80,000.
Yeah. I'm just I can get out without having to pay my deductible, and I'll find a crew that could do this for like 15, and then pocket 15. Like, what am I even talking to you for? And how much does it cost for you to go away? $3,000. Okay, so I still make 12 out the end of this. Okay, see ya. Like, that's an easy deal, and it sucks, man. It sucks on our end that that's something that we even have to encounter, but the laws are changing because of the education level. I think that the homeowners have learned more, we've learned more, and now the insurance company is like, all right, well, cool. You guys learned that? Well, here. How about these new laws? You guys want to learn these? They're getting with the politicians. It's a nightmare.
What's crazy, though, is people are going to see this podcast who are not from Illinois, and they're going to have no, like, what do you mean 10%? I think it's more so because in this market in particular, we're used to being able to be the contractor and the PA on the same claim.
Yep.
In most markets, you can't do that. I mean, Illinois is one of only 2 or 3 states that allow that.
At all.
So we're used to saying, yeah, sign his PA contract. We're going to raise it as much as we can, and then we're going to build a job and make all the profit, where most public adjusters in most states and most regions, they're only able to advocate and charge that percentage, and that's it. They can't build. Yep. So it's a little bit different. It's a learning curve in this area. A lot of companies are having to adapt because they're used to being able to be both. The difference is before having on there, if you decide not to use me, we're going to charge you 30%. Most homeowners were weary and said, well, we might as well let him do the job. Now when they're saying, well, you're going to raise it and do as much as you can, and you're only going to charge 10% to walk away, yeah, here. It's a learning curve for this market in particular, but I think some people are going to watch this in Florida and other states and they're like, what is he guys talking about? 10% is the standard.
Florida and Texas, that's their own, that's a whole new animal in themselves on each one of them too, because Florida's so against door knocking. and public adjusters, and then Texas just prove it, prove it, prove you did this, prove they paid the deductible, prove that you built this, let us go out there and check it, we'll go re-inspect it, prove you got a license, prove everything's up to date. Like, it's just chaos out there. We had the privilege of knocking in Texas a few years back in Pflugerville and Austin area. So it was fun, going out there and seeing like the level of damage that they have. One of the girls that I was with, that I got paired with to go knock, she was like, had been doing this for like 6 or 7 years. She's like, yeah, this is an area we don't really work that often. She's like, once in a blue moon. She's like, they kind of had an old storm. It's like 3-4 months old. I'm like, 3 or 4 months, that's an old storm. She's like, well, we get a lot of them. And I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
So I go out there and there's spatter all over the AC unit, spatter all over the vent, spatter on the side of the house, just everywhere. Just true markings of real hail. And I'm like, the fuck? Like, let's sign this.
Right.
And she's like, I don't know, we gotta do our 10 by 10. I said, 10 by 10, everything's just rock, bro. So I'm circling all this stuff, and she's like, yeah, I got 15 here and 15 there. She's like, I usually like to get like 20 or 25. She's like, before we file it, because of how strict they are. And I'm like, you guys are nuts, dude. We ended up filing the claims, long story short, but I had 2 of them out there that got bought. But it's like, dude, what they have in their backyard is just something we dream of. But then you see the provisions in their policies. You see the ridiculous deductibles that they have.
And how saturated their market is. Like,
man.
you think it's bad here.
Texas is way worse than Illinois. That's why I said it's its own breed, man. We were out at RoofCon last week, and the market's crazy, man. There's so many roofing companies that were out there from Florida. And they made up like half the event. It was all Florida roofers and stuff, but other roofers came in there too, and it was a great event. It was really, really fun, actually. But Orlando is just full of roofers now, too, everywhere you go. When we were flying in, it was crazy, too. The hurricanes and stuff like that, but I haven't been out there. Just everywhere. Flying right over these neighborhoods, and there's just blue tarp. Yeah, it's just crazy, man. So whoever came out here and laid the tarps out, they got paid.
I worked a hurricane in Louisiana, Hurricane Ida, back in 2021. So we had a big storm in 2020, March or April 2020. We had a big storm. In Illinois, we get 1 year to file a claim. We didn't get one in 2021. So we had a couple microbursts, small storms came through, and our company struggled. The company I was with at the time, we weren't licensed, and so we couldn't partner with the finance company. In Illinois, you're legally allowed to operate as a roofing company if your subs are licensed and you display that. So as long as you're upfront and you have the subs information, their license, legal. So that's how we operated. So the company I was with, we weren't licensed, but we did insurance claims. And so because we didn't have a financing partner or a company we could offer financing with, because we didn't have a license, we couldn't do any retail. And so not having a store, not being able to offer retail, we went from doing $6.5 million in 2020 to we probably did 2.5-3 million, and a lot of that was rollover from the year before in 2021. And so we lost a lot of guys. We struggled. We opened up an office in Indiana. We had to close that down. We had a lot of projections, and things just didn't go right by not having a storm and not having the ability to offer financing. So I decided to go ahead and go down to Louisiana for the winter, work the hurricane, and just flying into New Orleans and seeing just blue everywhere. It was heartbreaking. It really put in perspective, like, I'm not just here to make money. Like, this is people's lives here. Like, I'm used to working hailstorms and windstorms, where you're going in there, you're telling people, hey, do you know you have damage on your roof? We do a free inspection. No, when you walk outside and you see their entire belongings on the curb because it's all destroyed and being hauled away, it's just mind-blowing. And so that was the first time where I had just a more respect for the quote-unquote storm chasers. There's a lot of guys, bigger names in the industry, who they're known for traveling storms, hurricanes all the time. A storm hits, they're up and packing, and they're gone. We've never had to do that for the most part. I didn't up until that point because I'm like, well, we're not storm chasers, we're storm catchers. We get hit with a storm every year in Chicagoland. But that put in perspective just the amount of an impact that you're really having on some of these people's lives and what we do. We say we do this to help people. That was the first time I really felt like I'm actually helping folks here, because their lives, it's not like, well, you might have a leak, let me help that. It's, you have a hole in your roof or your entire house is flooded. And it's just, it really opened my eyes to, the kind of impact that we can have in this industry. And just to see the devastation people were going through was heartbreaking.
So that's knowing that obviously you've been doing this for a while. And I did a podcast actually with a guy named Corey Gatz, who's from Indy. Mm-hmm. And I actually talk about that specifically. I was like, I think that we get this rap, and, you brought up storm chasing or storm catching, right? But I genuinely care about the people. Like, because not everybody's like that, right? Not every case is where it's like, hey, somebody that doesn't know, and I've told that story a million times about the older Mexican lady from like
Lake Station, yeah. But I've told that story like a bunch, because like that's what got me hooked, was like this lady crying, hugging me, right? There's so much gratification with helping people, and I think most of us know that. But yeah, to go to like an area like that, I couldn't imagine that. But what my point that I'm trying to make is that for the people, if anyone is listening, right, or like wonders, it's like there's more to this than us just roofing. We're not just trying to scam the insurance. And there's a lot of people, to your point, that do go and storm chase that aren't pieces of shit.
Right.
Like there's bad apples, like there's bad apples right here in Indiana, right in Chicago, but there are some people that are there that are genuinely trying to help, that might be working with, whether it's a supplier or one of the Habitat Humanities, like whatever it could be. Like there's people out there that are storm chasing, but to do right by these homeowners.
I don't think that half the people out there listening or watching even know what a storm chaser is. They throw that term out there so much.
You're right.
We hear it's ambulance chasers or storm chasers. Like,
right.
That's all we hear about. It's like, dude, you literally don't even know what you're talking about. First off, you have to explain to them what an out-of-town roofer is, too. So we go to Michigan City, dude. One lady put up a post in Michigan City. She mentioned us, not by name, but I know that it had to have been directed at us and several other contractors. She had a whole list of it. And she goes, some of these companies are traveling as far out as Hobart, Indiana. As far out. First off, there were Illinois companies out there. Let's just, she just didn't recognize them. Secondly, Hobart is 25 minutes away from Michigan City. That makes us a local company, in my opinion. Local would be, in my idea, would be anybody Northwest Indiana. Like I'm helping for anywhere from Dyer to... as far out as LaPorte. I'd say that's a local company. So
right.
that's first. Secondly, the definition of a true storm chaser, the fly-by-night companies, are the ones that are not from this area, have never done business in this area, came because of the storm, build you as fast as they can on a quick agreement and dip out and you never hear from them again.
Not
That's
licensed.
a storm chaser. Yeah, people who go into the areas where they work and are established for years because a storm took place, like, that's not a storm chaser.
Right.
And yeah, we go after the damage. Like, if a storm is coming in here damaging people's homes and properties, why would we not want to help them out? That doesn't make any sense. I'm sure I could pitch out roofs all day long to people, out-of-pocket retail, but we're blessed with the opportunity to not have to do that. We have another avenue here in the Midwest, and the weather is nuts.
Well, it's still an ignorance thing. Even some of our friends that know us, know what we do,
they still assume
assume that we're scamming somebody, or we're trying to pull, the fleece over, or you're going to make my rates go up. And it's like, your rates are going to go up regardless.
Right.
For a multitude of reasons, none of which have to do with really right now, more so because the home values in Northwest Indiana keep going up. That's why. So your home rates should go up every year.
Right.
But you don't even know that because you don't know enough.
And
you're
the
not
ones
educated.
who don't want to do that for the property anyway, your rates have gone up since you've been there regardless. You bought this house in the 70s. You tell me you're paying the same insurance rate. No. Inflation's real, people. Like, it's going to go up anyway. Typically speaking, how it does go up is like he alluded to. The insurance company has funds that they put aside for each zip code. People in that zip code take out claims for the storm. That's that specific storm date. There's money put aside for it. Once that money empties out, everybody's rates go up. This is common knowledge. But when you say something like, oh, I'm not going to go forward with this because I don't want my rates to go up, all you're really saying is I'm okay in building up my neighbors' houses. I just want mine to keep looking like shit.
Not only that, here's a funny thing. When people say I don't want rates to go up, are they expecting their rates to shoot up $300 a month? Like, at the end of the day, if the insurance is going to pay out 15 to 20, let's say the average roof, 20 grand. If they're going to pay out $20,000 for your new roof and they raise your rates $30-40 a month, it's not really that bad of a deal in the long run.
It's not.
No.
They don't shop around.
Right.
You know what I'm
100%.
saying? They raise your rates up. And they're threatening, hey, we're going to raise your rates up because you actually had storm damage for the first time in 20 years. You took a claim out.
Well,
for it.
the reason for that. It's easy. My agent's my friend.
Right. Well, I went to school with my agent. He wouldn't lie to me.
Yeah.
So
the guy who gets paid the bonus at the end of the year based on how many claims you don't take out.
For sure. So
I love agents, by the way. Shout out to all my agents. You guys know what storm damage looks like before you even get there. Shout out. Oh, you don't need to file a claim.
My agent said there's no damage on my roof. Did he go on your roof? Well,
There's no storm.
But he told me.
Yeah, exactly. Have they ever seen the property? No, but they sent me birthday cards.
Right.
Yeah, Marlene, Dyer, Indiana, State Farms. That's my agent.
That's your agent?
Yeah, and big shout out to her. Happy birthday. Hail ever hits my house, I'm filing.
Has she been on your roof?
I'm filing. No, she's never been. She's never even seen my house, dude. And it's inside the policy. It's the best thing. Like, as a homeowner, they're supposed to come out and like look at it. I got a pool and I'm off the record with it. I got no fence around it. You ain't never seen it. Got discounts. I put a pool in. You don't even know about it.
He's manufacturing.
You don't even know about it.
He's manufacturing explosives in the basement.
Dude, cooking meth. Like, we got a whole bunch of. It's Indiana, baby. It's the Wild West out here. Bang, bang. So she's never even seen the house or anything like that. But yeah, rest assured, if something happens in my home, I'm taking a claim out. Yes.
So one thing,
pay homeowners insurance for. Angela, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
That's Mr. Two Claims over there. That's what we call him now.
Two claims?
Yeah, he put a hose. He literally put the hose to his window and shut it and turned it on. Went to work. He came back and said, "Oh, my house flooded." Yeah, no shit.
It was the wet bandits.
Yeah.
So I'll give you listeners a nugget here. The way I normally handle, because the situation, I want my rates to go up. Most people in the industry are going to respond with, "Well, just so you know, the way it works, you can't At the end of the day, if the homeowner is genuinely concerned about the rates going up, no matter what you say to them, it's going to go in one ear out the other. All they hear is, you're wrong, I'm right, I know what I'm talking about. So I use a little trick just to I ask them 3 questions, or 4, and I make them answer themselves. So when they say, hey, I don't want my rates to go up, or I'm worried about them shooting my rates up, you know how it is to raise my rates. I say, hey, man, I understand you don't want your rates to go up. I don't want your rates to go up either. Let me ask you this. Who's your insurance company? You said State Farm, right? Perfect. I work great with State Farm. How long have you been with State Farm?
No one worked great with State Farm.
Oh, I work great with State Farm.
8 years.
So the first key is, whoever they say, you respond with, oh, perfect, I work great with them. Now, at the end, I'm going to tell them State Farm's a little tougher, whatever. I'm not going to lie to them. But you work State Farm? Great, I work great with State Farm. How long have you been with State Farm?
8 years.
8 years? Holy shit, man. You're more faithful than my ex-girlfriend. You've been with State Farm for 8 years. Now, let me ask you, when's the last time State Farm paid for your roof?
2017.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Okay. So 2017. So you've been with State Farm for 8 years. They paid for you back in 2017. Now, since 2017, how much have your rates gone up since then?
They just doubled up my deductible.
They just doubled your deductible?
Yeah.
And did you file a claim last year?
No.
But they doubled your deductible?
Yeah, about a year and a half ago.
Have they gone up like every year since then?
I couldn't tell you if it has every year since then, but I went from a $700 deductible to a $3,900 deductible. So tripled it, quadrupled it almost.
If you raise your premium, your deductible will go down.
My deductible's not going down.
Your deductible? That's all you have to do. Your deductible, you have the option of raising your premium to lower your deductible.
It'd go up way higher. I'm on that percentage crap. So they go off the percentage of the house value.
So you had your roof done in 2017. So obviously your case, that situation, realistically, you probably don't need a roof. Your roof's 5 years old, right? If they say the roof's a few years old, then obviously, okay, your roof's only 4 years old.
Yeah.
They probably don't need a roof.
No.
But most of the time, they're going to tell you,
Unless
I've been
they're
with
Michigan
them.
City.
Right. They're going to tell you 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. When's the last time they paid for your roof? They never paid for a roof. When that's the answer, you tell them, okay, so you've been with so-and-so for X amount of years.
Yep.
They've never paid for your roof.
Yep.
How much have your rates gone up? And more times than not, they're going to respond, well, you know how it is. They're always raising them. So you're saying, even though you haven't filed a claim, they're raising your rates every single year.
And then you could transition into an easier conversation too. Is it's not the insurance company paying you for it. It's they're recycling your money. You've already paid into this. There's 20 years of premiums that have gone up. If you were to add all that up together, you have more money in there with them secured
than they're paying out.
And honestly, why would an honest company drop you after taking out one real claim if you've been giving them 20 years of premiums?
Right.
They're going to get another 20 years of premiums from you. Do what's best for your home, not for anybody else. Who gives a fuck what your agent thinks about you taking a claim out? If the home was damaged in a storm, then help yourselves, guys. Like, I can't just, don't wait for us to come knocking either. Like, let's get this done. But these insurance companies, man, they just want to bully homeowners out and put fear into them. And there's some good companies. I'm not going to say these insurance companies because there's a lot of shit. Contractors too, but in the grand scheme of things, when I see, and I'm in this, daily, we're all in this industry, we see it more often than not. The agents really are trying to protect the house more than they are the homeowners.
For sure.
Not the homeowner's house. When I say protect the house, I mean,
Protect
State Farm agents
company.
are protecting State Farm. Allstate agents are protecting Allstate. They care about the shareholders and the bottom dollar, and you see it.
You mentioned one thing too is, they're constantly changing laws and different things. I think the most frustrating thing I've come across recently is these, I call them bullshit RCV policies, the RPS ones, where you have the roof payment schedule. They wrap it up as a RCV policy.
Dude, it's so bad.
And it's not. I just had a client, and his roof is quote unquote fully approved, fully paid for. It's a $22,000 roof, and he's got to pay like $14,000 out of pocket because it's an RPS policy. He's got a $2,500 deductible plus the extended part out of $10,000 almost. He's paying out of pocket. And that pisses me off because...
Let me stop here real quick. When you explained that to him, what did he say? Because I have an idea. Yeah, that was my thought. He's going to be mad, and let me guess.
He's going to call his agent.
He didn't know it was that set up. Did he think it was something else prior?
No,
right? He thinks it's something else, right? And so, again, for context purposes, your insurance can change your contract once it renews without your permission.
Correct.
And people, again, don't realize it until that happens because we've all been with that homeowner.
I can't tell you how many conversations I had to do with homeowners. Last 4 years, I've been writing work contracts for every company I've been with. It's over $40-50 million. I don't love all those surprises, but I kind of educate them and explaining that to them. Hey, this is what your agent sold you. This is what happens. This is what they do. Exactly what you said, Angelo. Auto renew, you got to read that document. My wife knows everything that comes from the insurance, give it to me. I caught my last insurance company making a switch, and no, I contested it. Ended up leaving them, I went to a different company, but it's like every person I've met, like, let me give you a free tutorial of what your policy is. Know your deductible. What is your out of pocket? There's some of the exclusions, Marion exclusion, all this stuff. Yep. And that's something that we offer. Is like, hey, when we meet, just like you, I'm sure you said, just, hey, FYI, here's some free information. It's good for you. Spread the word around. The golden goose, I mean, as far as policies, is the matching. I'm like, go get this. This is what I did on my house. I made sure I have this in case, you get that half approval or whatever it is. But yeah, we do our part, but it's like, man, insurance companies, they're sneaky.
Yeah, people who are listening, if you are a homeowner and you're on a policy that's over 10 years old, you should go back and look at it. You should have your agent send you an updated policy and, read it. Make sure you're still under the same one that you signed on. That's a real thing. After 10 years, 20 years, these guys are switching them over to ACVs. And then, what's even more alarming is the amount of homeowners that just give up at that point. They're like, oh, yeah, there's nothing I can do. Well, what do you mean, dude? They changed this without even talking about it. Like,
I'd say take it a step further. Reach out to guys at Roman's Roofing. Reach out to myself online.
Yeah.
And say, hey, can you read this? What does this mean? What kind of coverage do I have? And I'm sure you guys will be willing to actually educate the homeowner.
Oh, yeah, we put out videos telling people to send it. And some have. Some will send us scopes. Some people come into our office. They have an approved scope. They don't know what to do with it. We go over it with them. We don't even push the business. It's like, hey, just so you know, you have a full approval here.
Right.
I'd love to do the work with you. Stand here and sign. Since you came to my office, you can't leave till you sign. No, we just tell people, hey, man, this is what it is. And, thanks for coming in. And
yeah. The one that sticks out to me the most, I had a client out here when I was working in Indiana, in Valpo. He was an old guy. He had a roof, fully approved. Gets the paperwork back. We sit down, ACV only. And I explained it to him, and he's like mad. Like, no, I have replacement costs. I've always had replacement costs. And he's one of those guys, 20 years, never filed a claim. I have replacement costs. We call his agent. And on the phone, his agent tells him, well, when you got renewed, I switched it for you to save you some money this year. And it literally ended up being like $200 on the year. So he saved him, quote unquote, $200 on the year, and it ended up costing him like $6,000 out of pocket because it switched over to an ACV policy.
Our agent tried to dupe Amanda like that. It was like $12 or $15 a month we'd save. And then they just slowly, casually take out the flood coverage. I'm like, no, because you know what? I signed on to save that $15 or $20 a month, which is a lot. But then as soon as I do that, I already know, pipe bursts and there it goes, And then they cover for the pipe burst and the drywall, but then they don't want to cover for any of the flood damage because I don't have flood in my policy anymore. And I probably won't need it, but, just in case. I've seen enough of that in this industry to know that, hey, I don't care if I need it or not. I need it.
For sure.
I need coverage, yeah. You gotta be ready
well,
to go
that's
to
also
war.
just who you are as a person. You try to have the best of the best. You want to have everything. You're a big guy. You're a glutton.
Yeah. And I'm glad that the cameras are on right now for the guy that's telling me that I'm a glutton and I try to have the best of the best. Well, what's his hat say?
Stay paid.
Which,
I'm not going to lie. I've been eyeing the hat.
No,
it's a sweet hat.
It's a cool hat. You got at RoofCon.
So got it from RoofCon.
Yeah.
Company
Stay
there.
paid's telling me about money.
Is in kind of accounts receivable. They basically they get all your money collected, right? And we may do business together, so I'm going to leave their name out of it right now. I don't want to.
Okay. I was trying to stay paid.
Yeah, but no, dude, they had a really dope. They had this hat, and I for sure was like, I'm going to get one of those. And they had this like Monopoly guy.
We all got the shirt.
Bro,
yeah.
They had by far the best like marketing. I mean, you've probably heard of them, like companies that like they'll upfront your ACV checks or whatever it is. Like they collect it all. Like they take care of all your accounts receivable. Cool dudes.
It's like 2% or 4%, whatever.
I'm not even sure. I have a Zoom set up with them next week, but dude, their stuff was just a shit.
The shirts, yeah, it's like the little Monopoly guy with a money bag on him, and he's like running across it. It says "Stay Paid" on there. It's so cool,
nice.
dude.
Yeah. So but yeah,
the hats are cool, but it's just not my style.
No, it's just a super arrogant thing to have on a hat. And stay paid. Like it's
in the roofing industry.
100%.
It fits you perfect. Yeah.
No, for sure. Because I'm
mustache.
Yeah.
So you guys went to RoofCon was that last week?
Yeah.
How was that? You guys?
It's okay. So I've never been. So I've been to Door to Door Con, which we did in Utah, which I think we're gonna do regularly.
Shout out to Sam Taggart.
Yeah. But as far as like these, I've never been to IRE. I haven't been to the other ones. So I know you guys have like done some of this stuff in the past. So for me to compare it to, and again,
he had to bring it up. He had to bring it up when the storm. So.
Oh yeah.
So for the
I don't
record,
think he knows about that.
So for the record. At a previous company.
Which I heard it sucks now anyway.
Yeah.
When DeMonico was on it, yeah. Just Josie took it over now, and I don't really know how it goes. But you know what I do know is that I got strung along on there. I'll share my story real quick, though. But yeah, they fucked me. So when the storm asked me to... They submit a video, I submit the video. The lady who runs the things, I'm trying to get on a panel. The lady who runs the whole thing, she's like, yeah, you need to send another video. We really liked it, blah, blah, blah. I got the message approved on my phone. Send her another video. So about a week and a half goes by. I'm like, hey, what's the word? I'm trying to
waiting for your check.
trying to figure out what's going on.
$10,000.
No, dude, I just wanted to sit on a panel. So I'm
Right.
like, well, what are we doing here? Because it was like sales team development. And at the time, I developed a sales team. We did 7 million last year, came back, did 15 this year. Doubled up our money on it. Yeah, we built the team up.
Right.
So I was like, all right, I'm excited. Let's get in here. I'll bring some energy. One of the biggest pet peeves of this industry is how many people are on that stage that don't belong on there, that don't
Right.
actually do this. So I submit my video. So then nothing happens. Phil Townsend and me are talking from Beacon. He's got a relationship with Josie. So he passes the information along. So then Josie messaged. And then I'm like, hey, man, I'd be honored to go on there. He's like, yeah, you got to go and you got to vote. You got to, get a bunch of people to vote you in. Here's the video. I'm going to upload it here soon. Go on there and handle it. I said, all right, cool. So I go on this video, this ad that he's running. Josie is for Win a Storm. And this is last year's Win a Storm. There's this, who wants to speak, who would be a good person at the panel, vote for your person or whatever. Whole sales team, dude. Everybody I work with, everybody just goes on there, floods the whole thing out quickly, dude. Like 26 comments, my name. Then people that we didn't even, that don't even work with me, still started tagging me and stuff, like other people that I'm friends with out in the industry. So I'm getting tagged left and right. Post comes down, radio silence for like 3 weeks. So I messaged Josie and them on there. So she comes to me and she's like, yeah, the slots are filled. And I'm like, really? You guys probably could have told me that a few weeks ago, whatever. So I'm a little bitter about it. But listen to this. So then Mike Cortez, the national adjusters, who actually did go out there and buy a booth, the guy on the phone goes, hey, don't worry about that. I'm going to get your boy in. But all you got to do is buy the floor passes from us, and I'll get your boy in there. Typical sales
Right.
bullshit. So Cortez spent it, dude. He literally brought national adjusters there and spent the money putting us in there. So he gets in there. They ghost town me. Mike hits him up. He's like, hey, man, I bought these tickets. Like, what are you guys doing? Win a Storm was like, oh, yeah, sorry. We already booked those up there. So, yeah, I was like, oh, okay, well, cool. Well, fuck Win the Storm. And I won't go to it anymore. And it's pretty crazy that they did that. I have the text messages. I have messages to prove all of this. So it's not like I'm coming out there saying something that didn't happen. Like, it did happen.
That's
Maybe
insane.
I'm undeserving of sitting on the panel. Maybe they felt that, like, I wasn't a good
voted for you.
person for it. Well, I'm just saying that, like, but say that to me.
But they
Send me a
could have
message,
told
hey,
you
man,
that,
you don't have
yeah.
the credentials right now that we're looking for. It's not really the vibe we're looking for. And I'd accepted that. But you made us buy tickets, too.
Right.
With the false promotion of doing that on top of everything else, stringing along the videos and everything. Just pissed me off and rubbed me the wrong way. So, yeah, so fuck Win the Storm in the future. But when DeMonico was on it, though, it wasn't that great of an event anyway. But I heard last year it was really bad. Well, I was $1 million producer. I got invited to that. He let me on that stage to
Right.
to be congratulated for that. And that was cool from being my first time in this
sure.
industry a full year. But that correlates to his story. That's why I brought it up. But yeah,
So for the record, what happened was we were told a lot of things. But one thing we were told is that anybody who sold $1 million would get a trip to Win the Storm. And that year, I think it was in Vegas, right?
Yep.
So that was one of the things they pushed at the beginning of the season was like, if you guys sell $1 million this year, one of the perks is come March, you're going to go to Win the Storm. And I had tried to go to Win the Storm previously, and just whether I didn't have the finances or other things, had happened, I wasn't able to go in prior years. So when they said that, I was like, oh, bet. And, one of the things that kind of pushed me, aside from wanting to make money and competing with this guy, that trip, it wasn't something that was like, I'm going to sell $1 million for that reason, but it was a nice perk. And so it comes time for the trip, and they're like, Elijah's going. And Willie and I had also sold $1 million that year. So we're like, you guys said that we would get to go to the trip. And we said that? Yeah, you said we'd be able to go to Win the Storm. And then they came back and they said, well, it's a conference for PAs. And you guys don't have your PA license. Elijah does. So it doesn't really make sense. I was like, first off, it's not a PA conference.
Yeah.
It's a roofing conference. But, that's not what you said. That's fucked up. So then they made the deal like, well, if you pass the PA test before the date, we'll pay for your ticket. And I was like, bet.
I remember this day.
So I went. I'd already taken the class. I went, took my test. You need a score of a 70 out of 100 to pass the PA test. I got my score back 69. So I missed it by a question. I'm pissed off. I actually cried that day. Like I get in my car. I called Jimmy. And he's like, "Hey, bud." He's like, "Congratulations." He's like, "How'd you do?" And I was like, "I failed." He's like, "Shut up." I'm like, no, dude, I failed. He's like, It's all right, bud. And I'm like, I gotta go. I hung up the phone and started crying. I was like, just super mad at myself because I knew I could pass it, but I'm like, I missed it by a question, like a fucking one question, right? And there's also for the record, there's like math questions that have nothing to do with being a PA in that test There's stuff about boats and other things that I'm like, I wasn't prepared for this. So I was upset, and I was like, well, I have another week, and you have to. It was like 2 weeks before the trip. You have to wait at least 7 days before you take the test again. So I was like, I'm gonna retake it, and so I went, spent another $100. And this time I got like a 50 on the test. Like I just totally bombed it.
Everybody thinks the build up. Everybody's thinking that he's gonna pass it.
They're like, I walk in, they're like, yeah. I'm like, no.
I did worse the second time. That's tough, man.
So yeah, I was a little bitter I didn't get to go on that trip, but I eventually went to win the storm. We had a good time.
And we saw Eric Thomas speak there, and it was great. That part was.
Oh, ET, hip-hop
dude,
preacher.
yeah, I love ET. Love
For
it.
sure.
But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up, man. It was nice having you on here. Rebens is giving us a sign.
Well, it was great to be here. Thanks for having
All
me, guys.
7 of our followers.
Well, hopefully now we have 10. So
Oh, there you go. We're relying on you. to
Maybe
push
11.
this. Yeah, as long as we stay paid.
well, thanks for having me, guys. Sam
Yeah.
the Roof Guy here. Until next time.
There you go.
All right.
Peace.
See ya.